Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out with an on the move former world champion Joe Parker looking to take on Fabio Wardley next weekend. Joe, good to see you. I want to go straight into the conversation. I want to read to you some of the comments we had from our interview in Saudi Arabia from the people. There's a number of comments here. Some of the nicknames or usernames are a bit complicated to mention, but the comments are as follows. I love how humble and rational Joe Parker is. I noticed Parker at the fight looked peed off. He is sick of getting pushed to the side. He's a gentleman of the sport and should be given every opportunity to fight for a world title. He deserves it the most out of any heavyweight right now. Parker is the athlete everyone should have aspired to be. Humble, pure class, and willing to face any challenge. Shame the sport hasn't offered him the fruits of his labour. Joe, how do you feel listening to those comments from the people who obviously have a lot of goodwill towards you?
Listen, it's humbling. As a fighter, you just want to be yourself. You want to go out there and give the best performances you can. And the goal is to fight for the championship of the world, unified, undisputed, whatever it is, whatever you can get. So to hear those comments, listen, thankful for the support that they're giving, but also you just want to go out there and do better and better each and every time.
Would it mean more to you to be the people's champion or champion of the world for the second time round?
Oh, that's a tough one. You do want to become champion of the world, but if you are a champion and people don't like you, then you don't really have that support, right? And what's the point? Like you want to be champion, but also you want to have the support of the people. So I think it's important to be a good person, to be a good role model, and just be yourself, really.
I want to get your take on Fabio Wardley, but in a different sort of way, and that being of the resume of the fighters that you fought, do you think that Fabio beats them, starting off with Derek Chisora? Do you think Fabio beats Derek Chisora?
That's a tough one. It depends. I mean, Chisora throws a lot of volume with his the fights that he has. I think stylistically, Fabio could beat him, but it comes down to the game plan.
How about Joe Joyce?
Joe Joyce, the version of Joe Joyce that fought me, or the version now?
However you want to answer it.
Joe Joyce is a tough fight for anyone and everyone. So what kind of fight we had? He's just a very what do you call it? When he's fighting, he's dominant. He comes forward, he throws hard and tough punches. I think it'll be a tough fight for Fabio Wardley.
Would he beat Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, and Martin Bakole?
Oh, would he beat them? I don't know. I think with Zhang's experience, but he does fade. But then again, Deontay Wilder is a different fighter now, so it'll be a close fight. It'll be a close fight with all of them.
One thing that I mentioned to Fabio was when it comes to the deciding factor of this fight is how he felt the power differed between the two of you, and he felt that he had the edge and power between you two. Do you feel the same way?
Listen, he could feel that way because of the stats, right? But sometimes the stats, when you compare fighters he's been in a ring with, fighters I've been in a ring with, then you can see there's a big difference. But stats-wise, it does show that he has a lot more power.
The second thing I mentioned was the will between the two of you, and both of you seem to not want to settle for just the easy way out. Both of you very much have the heart to continue and get up when maybe the odds are against you, or keep going when the odds are against you. But for your mind, for your eye, who do you think has the bigger heart between the two of you?
Listen, we've had different fights in different situations, and fights where we've showed heart. I mean, in this last, I would say for him, the last fight not going his way, and then staying true to himself and staying true to his game plan, and obviously catching the right hand. The 10th round changed the whole course of the fight. Whereas the fights that I've had, I've been down, but I've never, I've always gotten back up, and I've always done my best to find a way to win. And even when I didn't win the fights, I showed. I would say probably I showed more heart in the fights that I've had, and I've had more difficult fights out of the two of us.
You also mentioned that obviously his team do a lot of research, and they maybe feel that you might look to or elect to box more than fight more. Is that the way to beat Fabio? Not get drawn into a fight and box around him for as long as possible?
Listen, box him, fight him, hug him, push him, whatever it takes to win the fight. Um, I can box if I want to box, or I can fight if I want to fight. It just depends on what he brings. But I have, with what I've been working on with Andy, we have a plan in place, and I'm going to go out there and execute and implement what we've been working on in the fight with February.
I was watching your YouTube channel. I was watching obviously your fight camp footage heading into this fight, and just watching the interaction between you and Andy. Very much close bond, but Andy's very softly spoken, and it seems like that's the way to get through to yourself personally. But is there a point where Andy has to be the whip cracker and is a disciplinarian, has to get at you to get at you and rile you up a little bit? Has there ever been those points in camps previous?
There have been, but I guess the more we work together and the more I can understand what he's trying to for me to do, the better it is communication wise. And I guess the Andy being calm, cool, collected, natured, and also the way that he communicates is very it gets to me. It does get to me being that cool, calm, and not so much screaming at you and being very aggressive like a lot of trainers are out there.
Example of a time when Andy's cracked the whip.
Maybe I would say the Chisora fight, Chisora 2. When things were going our way, and there are times where I wanted to go in there and brawl and fight with him, and just say, you know, follow the plan, don't get sucked into it. And I guess that's probably one of the only times I've seen him. Or say the Joe Joyce fight when things weren't going well as well. And he knows that I could have done more, or could have done better, but he had to find a way to get out of me.
It was obviously the added factor into this fight that in Fabio Wardley's corner, a part of his team is Dylan White, who holds a victory over yourself, a contentious victory, it must be said, but a victory over yourself. He says that he hasn't actually spoken to Dylan about how to go about beating you or what to do to maybe fight you. Do you believe that?
I'm not sure. I know they're very close, and I know Dylan and I had a fight back in 2018, but I'm a totally different fighter now. So even if he had a bit of insight on what to advice to give him, it's a very different fight nowadays. I feel like I'm a lot more, just a different fighter altogether. A lot more confident, a lot more aggressive, a lot more structured in the approach that I have and my stance and everything else. So I think it'll be a very different fight to what Dylan White had back in 2018.
A very important issue to discuss, and that is about Oleksandr Usyk and the look into his back injury. Have you heard anything about that at all? Have you heard any kind of update as to where he stands right now?
I haven't heard any update, or I haven't seen anything after what we've heard and what everyone else has seen and heard. So I still think he might be getting a bit of work done on it.
You sure you didn't see anything?
No, I mean, I've seen him, the football stuff, and
Yeah.
also seen him dancing and all that. But I guess I haven't heard anything else where he's been given an extension and hopefully he's getting it checked out, getting checked out and worked on.
Yeah, because
if it is a real injury.
We discussed the dancing, but what about the football? What did you think of the football performance?
I didn't watch the game, but I saw him run onto the field and everything, and I guess he's just having a good time, really. And he's been given an extension because of this injury, but I guess he's making the most of his injury by having a good time.
A frustrating period for you?
I don't really care, to be honest. Listen, I got a fight locked in now, and I'm happy, and I'm excited for it, and I will get the chance to fight for a title so long as I keep doing my job, and that's to go out there and perform.
I spoke to Lawrence Okoli, and he kind of said, "Look," I said to him, Usyk's done his thing. He's become undisputed champion twice. Do you want him to kind of leave and have his little sunset and go, so then the belts can fragment and you guys can have your opportunities?" And Lawrence kind of said, "Yeah, that's kind of what we all want to happen, but we just don't kind of want to say that in a better way of saying." But do you kind of wait for that moment for those belts to fragment and you to get that opportunity?
But you never know what's going to happen in the sport of boxing. Whether Usyk's going to keep the belt and then vacate one and then fight for it again, or vacate two. You just don't know what's going to happen. So I guess if you don't have any control, just stay patient, stay working, and stay focused on the task at hand, or stay focused on the fight you have in front of you. But there's so many different things that can happen in this boxing game.
Joe, one of those different things, and one thing that's kind of, I imagine, would be on your mind would be a potential fight with a rematch, potentially with Anthony Joshua. Sorry, how much does that factor into your mind when it comes to thinking about world titles and the like?
Yeah, listen, I wanted to avenge the losses that I had in my career. You know, Joshua, the white one, and the Joyce one. I think the only one that could still happen down the line would be the Joshua one. But I just want to get this fight done first with Fabian Wardley. But there's so many options out there of big fights that can happen.
How much is momentum key in terms of when it comes to factoring yourself against Anthony Joshua, because you're on this run, because you're on this string of victories, and Anthony Joshua is coming off a big loss to Daniel Dubois? How much does that change the thinking of a fight between you two?
Listen, I've been training. I live the life, and I've been training. I'm sure he lives the life as well in terms of eating and training and staying prepared. So it just comes down to, like, for me, activity is key. But if you're not active as a fighter, but you continue to live the life, then that helps you in a certain way. So if he is living the life of staying on track with his eating and his training, all that, then it won't take too long to get back into play.
You mentioned that you're a completely different fighter from before. If Fabio Wardley's looking to look at you and look at your fights before, is AJ a different fighter than he was from when you fought him?
Different fighter, yeah. He's a different fighter, and also he's been through a lot. He's been through a few losses since I fought him. He's been through a few losses, and he's been able to come back and be champion or unified or champion of the world again. So he's same as my career. He's had a lot of ups and downs.
There's not many fighters that would say that they want to take on Moses Itauma. Why are you different? Why are you someone who'd be happy to take on Moses when he's on the ascendancy?
You can get this fight done on February Wardley. I'm open to fighting anyone and everyone. I don't care who it is. I know he's very talented, Moses. He's very talented, and whoever's been put in front of him, he's taking care of business, and looked very good doing so. But I just want to be in this boxing game and fight everyone and anyone and give it the best I can.
Joe, I know this question comes up a lot, but I've got to throw it in there. Tyson Fury, we're waiting his return. He's talked about him coming out of retirement to take on that Oleksandr Usyk third fight. He's in that queue, of course, to take on Oleksandr Usyk. Have you heard anything about the return of Tyson?
I haven't heard anything. I know there's news circulating around that he will return next year and there might be a fight locked in, but I haven't heard anything. You know, every time I speak to him, he's enjoying himself and enjoying family time and training every day. So you never know. It could be rumors or it could be true. I might give him a text or call later and check in and see if it's true or not.
The quick final questions. Joe, is Victor Malosi the next big Samoan star? Is it Victor Malosi? Is that how you say it?
We'll see. Yeah, I think Victor, my cousin, has been in camp, right? And he is a very talented fighter. We just have to guide his, the start of his career. He's still an amateur, but he's learning a lot here in Ireland. He's learning a lot just being in the gym and sparring with the fighters and working under Andy Lee. And he's got goals that he wants to achieve in boxing. So he could be the next big Samoan star. Not really big. He's a smaller fighter, but he could be a Samoan star. Is really up to him.
Are you guiding his career?
I'm helping him the best I can. Just it's nice to give someone else an opportunity and see what they can do with it.
How do you balance that with your own career?
My career takes priority, and Victor knows that, and he's here to support me, but also here to learn. But everything that I do in camp, he always puts me first, and everyone in the camp puts me first.
What's the one pitfall you say to Victor to avoid that maybe you fell into in your career?
One advice I would give him.
Yeah, one big what's the word I want to use? Like pitfall, like one thing to avoid doing in your career.
Listen, so long as he stays on track, and so long as he has his goals and sticks with the right people, and the right team and people who want just to see you do the best and be the best, you can't go wrong. Because if you do go off track, they'll remind you very fast, come back on the right track. So people that you have around you will influence you whether to do good or bad. So make sure you choose wisely.
Joe, final word to yourself. What happens October 25th in your fight with
Joseph
Wadley?
Parker win. Joseph Parker win. Celebrate. Here we go.
The celebration's already started.
It
The celebration's already started.
hasn't started yet, but that's what I want.
Joe, appreciate your time. Thanks for being the Seconds Out. All the best.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.